Hello, welcome back! I am Patricia. If you're new here, I'm an English teacher and I love teaching English in English. Period. Simple as that. So I hope you enjoy this channel. Stay here, don't be afraid. It's all in English, but it's important for you to listen to English when you are learning English. Okay, if you like it already, just subscribe. Do it now. Subscribe, done, okay, thank you. So today I'm here to talk to you about how I learned irregular verbs in English. God, now that was a really long time ago. I actually learned about 20 important irregular verbs in English before I went to England. But I didn't know how to use the verbs in a sentence. Now that's just a tiny, small, minuscule detail. But I knew the verbs. Excuse me. How did I learn the verbs? When I was 14 years old, so 1 year before I moved to England, I had an English teacher at school, just my regular school. I never went to an English course or school, never. So this teacher was called Tanya. I remember her so well. I remember her face, her big hair. She was really tall. I remember her so well. Something that I admired about her and that I never truly realized how this impacted my life in terms of my teaching was that she spoke in English for 90% of the time in the classroom. This was very different because we were used to teachers that spoke in Portuguese all the time. I'm Brazilian, so in Brazil we speak in Portuguese, right? And it was so different to have this woman walk in and crack on with some English chatting with us. Crack on is start. So you crack on with it, you start it. So she came in and she just cracked on with English straight away. And she explained everything in English and it was really weird. I remember I didn't understand her, obviously, but I did at the same time. I didn't understand the words, but I understood the message. And she, I remember the day, I have a very itchy nose today. I don't know why, sorry, I keep scratching it, it's just so itchy. Itchy is like when something is, you know, like, it's so itchy. I remember the day where she taught us to make a banana milkshake in English. And I remember that I got home and I did a little presentation to my parents and my brothers explaining how to make this banana milkshake. And I didn't remember the words, like the sentences, but I remembered some words that she said. And she had a really thick American accent. She was Brazilian, but she had an American accent. And she went like, put the banana in the blender and like, I don't know how to make an American accent, but it was amazing, like the way she spoke. And I remember doing this too because I thought she was fantastic. And one day she said, here is a list of 20 verbs you all have to memorize for a test, an oral exam next week. So she gave us 20 verbs and she gave us a list from Anglo. It was like a verbs list. It was a massive list, but she told us the verbs and we highlighted the ones we had to learn. So I remember the list went like this: irregular verbs, present, past, past participle. And I memorized it like this. I remember so well. I remember like one verb that was actually on the list was to eat. I remember this was on the list. So to eat, comer, because that's how we say it in Portuguese, right? To eat, comer. Ate, eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. Eat, ate, eaten. I remember I memorized it like in a row, so I didn't know how to use it in a sentence, but I knew how it went. And I remember that I scored 100% in that oral exam. And the verbs that were on the list, I never forgot. Even though I didn't use them, I never forgot because I learned them in a rhythm. Eat, ate, eaten. Put, put. Take, took, taken. I remember like there was a rhythm in my head, you know. So when I moved to England and I started learning English, those were the verbs I knew. And then I started fishing in my brain to try and find those verbs again. And so I started applying them slowly in a sentence. And that was a very strange way to learn, in my opinion, because it's so mechanical. But at the same time, a very good way to learn irregular verbs. Imagine, I didn't use it for 1 year. I went to England and I remembered those verbs because I learned them in a rhythm. So that's a good tip for you. If you're struggling with regular verbs, take 10 or 20 that are important. There is no point learning a verb like broadcast, because that is just a verb that you're not going to use in the beginning. Broadcast is something goes on TV, is being broadcasted, you know, to the world. It's not useful. That was on the list, but it wasn't one of the ones she asked me to learn now. So remember, start with 10 or 20 irregular verbs and try to memorize it in a rhythm. If you're struggling with irregular verbs, some people have a great problem memorizing irregular verbs, so that's a good tip. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice way to learn. And then obviously, if you learn it that way and you have the chance to talk in English to apply them in a sentence, then that's amazing. That's perfect. But also, if you're just listening to a lot of English, the light just changed, I'm sorry. The sun is gone, covered by the clouds. So that's good too. Listen to English, get a few 10 or 20 regular verbs that you like, that you think are important, and go for it. And let me know how it goes. If you like this video, click on like, share with your friends, leave a comment down below, subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye.